There used to be an old childhood favorite that we as a family loved in India, and we would get a lot of beef steaks, but we would get some chicken steaks with hot garlic sauce. It used to be served on a sizzling plate with grilled onions and some potatoes or vegetables. Today I'm going to be making it with air fried string beans, and here are the ingredients. I have a pound of lean organic ground chicken, salt, Worcestershire sauce, breadcrumbs, 1 egg, about a quarter of a large white onion chopped, 1 serrano chili chopped finely, a small handful of cilantro, chopped garlic, about a teaspoon, and a teaspoon of finely grated ginger, fresh ginger. I also have some red onions which I'm going to be grilling or sauteing till it's caramelized with a touch of Worcestershire sauce that would go really well with the chicken steak. And I've got the chicken, and I'm going to be adding 1 egg, a whole egg, and then literally dump all the other ingredients: ginger, garlic, chopped serrano. You can use jalapeno if you like, or you can avoid it if you don't like the spice, and add a little ground black pepper, and then about a teaspoon of Worcestershire, about a quarter cup of breadcrumbs. Any kind of breadcrumbs would work. This is whole wheat breadcrumbs, and some salt. Mix it all together. It makes about 4 patties. This used to be one of our favorite dishes in my family. As a child, we had the special treat of going to this one restaurant in Bangalore, which is no longer there. It was called Princess, and they used to serve the best chicken steak, and still remember eating it as a child, and I replicated it since I missed it a lot. So it's all come together. You don't want to over mix it because it'll make the steak dry. So I divide it into 4. So I put it onto a hot pan. I made 3 steaks today, since there are only 3. And with the 4th one, what I've done is made 3 little patties, which could make a perfect lunch with some small slider buns and a side of salad. So you can do something like that, or you can actually make it into a long like a kebab and use it as a wrap too. It'll take about a few minutes. We're just browning it, and then I'm going to put it into the oven till it's fully cooked on the inside for about maybe about 8 to 10 minutes at 350. You can see I've just flipped it. It's brown and not fully cooked on the inside, literally searing it on a pan. And while it's cooking, I'm going to be making need a cup of tomato puree, a tablespoon of chopped garlic, some ketchup, about a teaspoon, and then about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then about half a teaspoon, maybe even a little less if you don't like it spicy, of crushed red pepper that I'm sauteing with a little oil. And then I'm gonna add a cup of the tomato puree. And then crushed red peppers to taste. And then a teaspoon of tomato ketchup. And a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Since the tomato puree is quite concentrated, it has a lot of flavor, no salt added. That's why I prefer using tomato puree. I'm going to add a half a cup of water to dilute it, so it's more like a sauce. You can see the consistency, it'll thicken a little bit more. You're just going to get the raw tomato taste out of the sauce. You can see the chicken is almost done, ready to go into the oven. And I'm adding a little bit of salt to the puree. Couple more minutes and the sauce is ready. I've put the steaks onto a greased pan and that's ready to go into the oven at 350 for about 8 to 10 minutes till the center is fully cooked. So the garlic sauce is done. You can see the consistency. Once it comes to a boil, you're all set and it's ready to be served. I'm just going to pour it into a nice little sauce boat. And it's ready to be served. While the chicken is baking, I'm just going to add a quarter spoon of some olive oil to the same pan. And then the sliced red onion. We're just going to make it golden brown, saute it a little in the pan with a little bit of salt. Doesn't take too long since it's thinly sliced. And I'm going to put a splash of Worcestershire sauce on top. Once it's brown, it caramelizes beautifully and tastes delicious on the steak. You can see it's already golden brown. And if you have a small personal-sized cast iron, you can actually you can actually put the chicken steak in the bottom and then serve the grilled onions on top, and then pour the hot garlic sauce on top of it. You can actually serve it with some garlic mashed potatoes or some steamed vegetables or roasted vegetables. That would taste really good. I usually make sliced potatoes. Today I'm actually adding some air-fried green beans, which I will follow up on that. And it's done. For my side dish, I'm going to be making air-fried panko green beans. I have about half a pound of green beans, which are cleaned and trimmed. Panko breadcrumbs, crushed black pepper, salt, chilled sparkling water, and half a cup of plain flour. The flour, salt, taste, pepper, you can add garlic powder if you'd like. I already have quite a bit of garlic in the steak and the sauce, and then the Pellegrino or club soda. Rub it together. Maybe it needs a little bit more. You want it thick enough so the flour sticks to the beans. So coat the beans really well in the flour mixture. And then you've got the panko breadcrumbs, which I've also salt and pepper seasoned it well. Make sure it's wet enough. Roll it in the panko and then lay it onto the air fryer tray. You can actually fry it if you'd like. They come out pretty well, but I'm trying to cut back on fat. The air fryer works perfectly well. You can see it's very lightly coated. You want the flavor of the green beans, but the crunch of the panko. A few more. I've used about half a pound, maybe a little more than half a cup of panko, half a pound of green beans, half a cup of panko, half a cup of plain flour, and then you can use regular water, sparkling water. I find the sparkling water gives it a lot more crunch. And when it's chilled, it comes out much better. My air fryer is set at 400 degrees. It's preheating. And this should take about, I would say, 8 minutes or so in the air fryer, 8 to 10. You can check when the panko is browning. It's ready to go, ready to be served. So this is the finished product. This is how I serve it. The chicken steak with the grilled onions, garlic sauce, and the air-fried crunchy green beans.